The girl had already been starving on the deserted island for 10 whole days when she finally found a seashell on the beach. She quickly smashed it open and shoved it into her mouth, but the overwhelming stench made her gag, and she spat it out right away. She lifted her head and couldn't help but envy the young man in front of her. In front of him was a plate of fresh sashimi, and he was casually dipping it into his homemade sauce. It didn't look like he was stranded on an island at all, more like he was enjoying a feast. The girl was so hungry she could barely stand it. In the end, hunger won over pride, and she deliberately swayed her hips as she walked past the young man. Sure enough, she had barely taken 2 steps when he called out to her. At that moment, the starving girl threw away all pretense, grabbing the fish and lobster with her hands and stuffing them into her mouth. The young man saw her eating too quickly, worried she might choke, so he thoughtfully handed her a freshly cracked coconut. Hugging the coconut that was bigger than her head, she gulped it down like crazy, showing none of the elegance of a rich lady, something that only made the young man chuckle. If it had been 2 days earlier, he never would have imagined that a poor guy who worked on a yacht could end up stranded on an island with a young, beautiful socialite. What surprised him even more was that after eating and drinking her fill, the woman actually leaned over and gave him a kiss, leaving him grinning from ear to ear. From that moment on, the young man no longer looked down on her helplessness, and the woman slowly let go of her guard, beginning to trust and rely on the poor boy who knew how to fish and cook. Working together, the two of them quickly built a small shelter that could keep out the wind and rain. At night, when they slept, they would unconsciously lean against each other. But just as life was starting to get better, an unexpected event occurred. One day, the young man went out to fish as usual, but on his way back, he found a man half dead on the shore and rescued him. When he brought the man back, the woman immediately ran over and threw herself into his arms. Only then did the young man realize they were husband and wife. The wealthy man, who had narrowly escaped death, was filled with suspicion about what had happened between his wife and the young man on the island. He secretly lit a bonfire, wanting to test their reactions. The couple was thrilled to see the fire, finally free from eating raw food. But before long, the rich man started belittling the young man. Though he felt bitter, the young man still shared his food. Yet the wealthy man didn't appreciate it at all. Even worse, one day while they were out fishing, the rich man split their thatched hut in two. The young man couldn't hold back anymore, and the two of them broke into a heated argument. The young man swore he would never share food with him again, but the wealthy man wasn't worried in the slightest because he had just found a knife on the beach. With a knife, he was sure catching prey would be easy, but by evening, his confidence was shattered. Though he had whittled a wooden spear, without diving goggles he couldn't get into the water, so he tried spearing fish along the shore. After stabbing at the water again and again, he hadn't even caught a strand of seaweed.